What up, YouTube? You already know. Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou. NFZR2. Baby, baby. And if it's the first time you're coming to the channel, it'd be highly appreciated if you like, subbed, and shared the channel with your family, your friends, your folks, your gente, your peoples, your associates, your comrades, your associos, your camaradas, your buddies, your pals. And also feel free to comment. Or if you have any type of questions you want to ask, go ahead and feel free to put them in the comment section. And that would be highly appreciated to help that algorithm. Word out to thanks to Jamie Rupert and Richard Dowling, who's been dropping comments for the algorithm. Um, that being said, as you can tell from the thumbnail, I'm back to doing some profiles. I recently just did the Roger Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker profile for boxing, and now I'm dropping another baseball one. As you can tell from that thumbnail, it's Big Don Baylor uh, and Dave Parker, right? The Cobra. So Don Baylor was born June 28, 1949 in Austin, Texas. Shout out to Yankees for life, them Texas boys, right? And he passed away August 7th, 2017 at the age of 68 in Austin, Texas. He batted right, he threw right. He debuted in the Major League Baseball on September 18th, 1970 for the Baltimore Orioles. And his last appearance was October 1st, 1988 for the Swinging A's. He finished his career with a 260 batting average. He had 2,135 career hits with 338 home runs and 1,276 runs batted in. He played for the Orioles from 1970 to 75. He played with the A's 1976. He played with the California Angels 1977 and 1982. He played with the Boston Red Sox 86 and 87, the Minnesota Twins 87, and the Oakland A's 1988. As a manager, he managed the Colorado Rockies from 93 to 98 and the Chicago Cubs from 2000 to 2002. As a manager, as a coach. So that could have been a hitting coach, a first base coach, third base coach, um, a fielding coach, outfielder coach. Could be all kinds of different coaches. The Milwaukee Brewers from 90 to 91, the St. Louis Cardinals 92, the Atlanta Braves 99, the New York Mets 2003 and 4, the Mariners 2005, the Colorado Rockies 09 and 2010, the Arizona Diamondbacks 2011 through 2013, and the Los Angeles Angels 2014-2015. He was an All-Star in 1979. Wow. He was a World Series champion in 87 with the Twins. He was an AL MVP in 79. He's a three-time Silver Slugger Award winner, 1983, 1985, 1986. He got the Roberto Clemente Award in 1985. He led the AL in RBIs in 1979, and he was the NL Manager of the Year in 1995. And he's also in the Angels Hall of Fame, right? After his playing career, let's get a little bit into that. After his playing career, he managed the expansion Colorado Rockies for 6 seasons, right? And then the Cubs for 3 seasons. He was named the NL Manager, like I said, and he's in the Angels Hall of Fame. Little bit background. He grew up, like I mentioned, in Austin, Texas. Shout out to Yankees for life. Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. Baylor grew up in Clarksville, and he graduated from Stephen F. Austin High School after being one of 3 African Americans to integrate in Texas public schools when he was in junior high school. Baylor starred in baseball and football at Austin High, where he was the first Afro-American to play athletics at that school. Baylor was offered a scholarship to play college football for the Texas Longhorns of the University of Texas, which would have made him the first Afro-American to play football at Texas. He opted to pursue a baseball career, enrolling at Blinn Junior College in Brenham, Texas. Um, back then too, a lot of those players was more so way back in the day, like Willie Mays' day and stuff like that. But they would get drafted. They would sign a contract, get drafted perhaps, or not even get drafted, but sign a contract, and they'd be playing in the majors, by early age, 22, 23. Some guys now they don't break through to 27, 28, close to 30. You know what I'm saying? So professional career, Baltimore Orioles selected Baylor in the second round of the 67 Major League Baseball draft. He received a $7,500 signing bonus from the team. In 70, Baylor led the AAA level of the minor league with 34 doubles, 15 triples, and 127 runs in only 140 games played while at Rochester Red Wings. The following year, he again led the AAA level in doubles with 31, and then Baylor was called up to major leagues on September 18th, 1970, where he debuted for the Orioles. It was a home game against the Cleveland Indians, acquiring two hits and 3 runs batted in across 5 plate appearances, including a walk-off RBI single in the 11th inning. Baylor only played a total of 9 games with the Orioles in 70 and 71 seasons and did not see consistent involvement with the major league roster until 72. In his true rookie season in 72, he posted a 253 batting average, 416 slugging percentage with 11 homers and 38 RBIs in 102 games. Baylor quickly became a designated hitter for the Orioles, averaging 280 at the plate with the 437 slugging percentage, 46 home runs, 46 home runs, and 186 runs batted in between 73 and 75. He developed a reputation for getting hit by pitches, frequently leaning into off-target pitches and crowding the plate to get on first base without having to get a hit or work a base on balls. In 73, Baylor led the American League in hit by pitches with 13 and led the major leagues in 75 with 13. In a transaction influenced by the imminent free agency after the upcoming season, Orioles traded Baylor with Mike Torres and Paul Mitchell to the Oakland Athletics for Reggie Jackson and Ken Holtzman. So I was going to make a comment earlier about when it said the Orioles. I thought he played with Reggie Jackson, but now I find out he was traded for Reggie Jackson. And that went down on April 2nd, 1976. In 76, Baylor posted a 247 batting average and a 368 slugging percentage with 15 homers and 68 RBIs. He once again led the major leagues in hit by pitches with 20. So California Angels now, 1977. Baylor signed with the California Angels as a free agent, joining his former Baltimore teammate Bobby Grich in Anaheim. In 78, his second season with the Angels, Baylor posted a 255 batting average with 472 slugging percentage, 34 home runs, and 99 runs batted in, 22 stolen bases, and a league-leading 18 hit by pitches. He placed 7th in the AL MVP voting that season. In 79, Baylor led the majors with 139 runs batted in and 120 runs scored. He was also an AL All-Star, the lone selection of his career. He won the AL's MVP, gaining 20 out of 28 first-place votes, and led the Angels to their first ever AL West Division title. During his MVP season, Baylor's stats regressed. In 80, he played only 90 games due to a wrist injury. In those games, he posted a modest 250 batting average, 341 slugging percentage with 5 home runs, the lowest in any of his career seasons. With a double-digit games played, Baylor, again, missed time due to injury in 81 season, playing only 103 games with an, again, regressed batting average of 239, but improved slugging percentage of 427 with 17 homers and 66 runs batted in. Upon the arrival of superstar free agent Reggie Jackson in the 82 offseason, Baylor took him in as a roommate. In his autobiography titled Don Baylor, It's Nothing But the Truth, A Baseball Life, Baylor told how his friendship with Jackson was tumultuous at times, particularly some instances where Jackson was highly dismissive of fans who wanted pictures or autographs. Baylor returned to full health in 82, playing 157 games, looking like his old self by posting a 263 batting average and a 424 slugging percentage, accompanied by 24 homers and 93 runs batted in. After Tommy John allowed 3 runs through the first 3 innings of the 82 American League Championship Series against the Brewers, Baylor came up to John and said, "If you hold them to 3 runs, I'm personally good for your runs," against Milwaukee starter Mike Caldwell. Baylor delivered on his promise, batting in 5 runs that game as California came back to a win 8-3. Tommy John later called Baylor the team's catalyst. Baylor spent 6 seasons with the Angels and played a plurality of games with the team. In that time, he batted 262, slugged 448 with 141 home runs and 523 runs batted in. Not bad. That's kind of decent, right? Well, let me see. 141 home runs in 5 seasons. So it's 150 would have been 30 a season, right? 523 runs batted in, 5 seasons, that's over 100 a year. Yeah, pretty good. In 83, Baylor signed a 4-year, $3.7 million contract with the New York Yankees. Former Angels teammate Tommy John said of Baylor, "When we lost him, we lost our guts." Pitchers feared Don Baylor. In his autobiography, Baylor told of Yankees alumnus Tommy John and Reggie Jackson, warning Baylor not to sign with the Yankees due to team owner Steinbrenner's infamous strict and harsh attitude towards players. Baylor said that he found out for himself that the Yankees would treat free agent targets like a celebrity and then treat them like a piece of trash once they were on the team. In his autobiography, Baylor notes his rough experiences in the first spring training with the Yankees, as Steinbrenner would obsess over the exposition games against the rivaling Mets and Red Sox or New York televised games. In one instance, Steinbrenner tried to make his team play in a televised game on a field that was made subpar by inclement weather. Baylor's first season with the Yankees was his statistical best as he batted .303, 494 slugging percentage, 21 home runs, 85 runs batted in. He was awarded the first career Silver Slugger for his performance. The following season, Baylor's batting average percentages dropped by he totaled higher counting stats and fewer games. Baylor had batted .262 and slugged .489 with 27 homers and 89 runs batted in. Baylor also was less active on the base path in 84, stealing only 1 base compared to his 17 in the previous season. In his 3rd year of his stint with the Yankees, Baylor's percentage continued to decline, this time posting a .231 batting average, a .430 slugging percentage. He earned his 2nd career Silver Slugger that year. In his 3 seasons with the Yankees, Baylor batted .267 and hit 71 home runs and batted in 265 runs in 3 seasons. So that would have been 20 home runs times 3 is 60, 25. So it was about, 24 home runs almost a year. And 265 runs batted in divided by 3. That's, what would that be? 12 to about 120. No. 265 runs batted in 3 seasons. So 80 is 240. 90 is 270. So about 88 runs batted in a year. And then the following 85 season, Baylor was traded to the Red Sox for Mike Elser in 86. I remember Mike Elser. It was the first time the Yankees and Red Sox had traded with each other in 14 years. In 86 season, Baylor batted .238 with the .439 slugging percentage with 31 home runs and 94 runs batted in. He was awarded the 3rd Silver Slugger of his career and placed 13th in the AL MVP voting. While a member of the Red Sox, Baylor delivered a key hit in the '86 American League Championship Series when he hit a 2-run home run with 1 out in the top of the ninth during Game 5 against the California Angels. And this is the Minnesota Twins team that end up going and playing. This is what, '86, right? Yeah. So they end up losing to the Red Sox. Red Sox go to the World Series. '87 they win though. At the time, the Angels led the series 3-1 and were 1 out away from their first ALCS victory. The Red Sox went on to win the game and eventually the ALCS, denying the Angels their first trip to the World Series. Al Michaels, broadcasting the game for ABC, called it the greatest baseball game he had ever seen. Baylor played most of the '87 season with Boston in 108 games with the Red Sox. That year, he batted .239 with the .404 slugging with 16 home runs and 57 runs batted in. I made a mistake. I'm thinking he was on the Minnesota Twins at this time, but he not yet. He's on his way there now. Late in the '87 season, the Red Sox traded Baylor to the Minnesota Twins, and this is their World Series year. And a player to be named later that ended up being Enrique Rios. He played 20 regular season games with the Twins and made the postseason roster that year. Baylor added the Twins in the winning of their '87 championship by acquiring 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run, 3 runs batted in during the World Series. And that's the year it was Puckett, Gaetti, Herbeck. I think Al Newman was there already. Tommy, trying to think of Tommy. Jack Morris there yet? No, was Jack Morris there yet? Frank Viola was there. Frank Viola. They won the World Series. They beat the Cardinals, I believe it was. Then in '88, his second stint, he comes to the A's. This is during the Bash Brothers. This is during Canseco's 40-40 year, World Series year. They play the Dodgers. So Baylor comes back to the A's in '88. His final season as a player, the 39-year-old Baylor batted a career low .220 and slugged .326 with 7 home runs and 34 runs batted in through 92 games. Baylor was on the playoff roster for the AL pennant winning Athletics that season. Following the season, he retired as a player from baseball, but he never really batted at a good average. He had one year where he batted .300. That was a Yankee season, but everything was always .250, .260. You know what I mean? Probably, if I go deeper into his lookout, he probably has a whole lot of strikeouts. You know what I mean? So he ends up going on to, first a coach, and then he managed a couple teams. He was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2003, and then, like I mentioned earlier, he died on August 7th, 2017, at the age of 68 due to his illness. Just so you guys know, his managerial for the Rockies and the Cubs, 5 years he managed the Rockies, and 6 years the Rockies and 3 years the Cubs. For the Rockies, he managed 909 games with 440 wins and 469 losses for a winning percentage of 48%. The Cubs, he managed 407 games. He was 187 wins and 220 losses for almost 46%. So he's the winning side, not all that good. In 4 games he managed in the playoffs for the Rockies. He's 1-3, 250 winning percentage, right? So we're gonna flip on the side now. We're gonna go with Dave Parker. All right, Dave Parker, aka the Cobra. All right, Dave Parker. David Gene Parker, born on June 9th, 1951, nicknamed the Cobra. He played right field, right, from 73 to 91, 7-time All-Star. Right fielder, designated hitter. He's born in Grenada, Mississippi. He bats left, throws right. Made his debut on July 12th, 1973 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. His last game played was October 2nd, 91 for the Blue Jays. He finished with a .290 career batting average, 2,712 hits, 339 home runs, and he batted in 1,493. He played for the Pirates from 73 to 83, the Cincinnati Reds 84 to 87, the A's 88 and 89, the Brewers 1990, California Angels 1991, and he also played for the Toronto Blue Jays in 91. Seven-time All-Star 1977, 1979, 1980, 1981, 1985, 1986, 1990. Two-time World Series champion 79 and 89, one with the Pirates, one with the A's. NL MVP 1978, three-time Golden Glove Award 77, 78, 79, three-time Silver Slugger Award 85, 86, and 90, two-time NL batting champion 77 and 78, NL RBI leader 1985, he's on the Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame and the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Parker was the second professional athlete to earn an average of $1 million per year, having signed a 5-year, $5 million contract in January of 79. Parker's achievements include 2,712 hits, 339 home runs, and 1,493 runs batted in, and a lifetime batting average of 290. Parker was also known as a solid defensive outfielder during his first half of his career. He had a powerful arm. From 75 to 79, he threw out 72 runners, including 26 in 77. So he grew up in Cincinnati near Crosley Field, where he learned to play baseball on the stadium's parking lots. His father, Dick Parker, was a shipping clerk in a foundry. Dave Parker attended Courter Tech High School. He has said his favorite sport was football, and he starred as tailback but injured a knee in a game during his senior year and gave up the game. Playing career in 73 as a member of the Pirates AAA minor league ball team Charleston Charlies. Legend has it that Parker hit a home run that landed on a coal car on a passing train. The ball was later picked up in Columbus, Ohio. However, in a 1975 interview, Parker stated, "When I played for Charleston, I always had the ambition to hit a home run onto a moving train. I really used to shoot for that. I hit a few off on the tracks, but never as the train was going by." So that debunked that story. He began his first major league career on July 12, 1973 with the Pirates, for whom he played from 73 to 83. His first full season came in 75 when he led the NL in slugging percentage 541 and finished third in the NL MVP voting. At the 77 Major League Baseball game, he became the only player in history to have worn batting helmets from two different teams, neither of them his own, in the same game, wearing a San Diego Padres helmet early on before swapping it out for a Cincinnati Reds one. In 77, he was National League's batting champion, a feat he repeated in 78 when he was named the National League MVP. This was in spite of a collision at home plate with John Stearns during a game against the Mets on June 30th, 78, in which Parker fractured his jaw and cheekbone. He wore a specially constructed face mask in order to minimize his time away from the lineup. Pirates rewarded him with baseball's first $1 million per year contract. The following year, he was an instrumental part of the Pirates' World Series championship team. During a game in 79, a powerful hit he made to right field was very difficult to throw into the infield because he had knocked the cover off the ball. Damn. One of the seams on the ball ruptured and making nearly half of the cover come loose. Pirates fans, angered by his $1 million contract, threw nuts and bolts and bullets and batteries at him, as pitcher Ken Tekovlev stated in a typo in a news story made it appear that they threw car batteries. In 81, at the point in his career when it looked as if he would one day rank among the game's all-time greats, Lawrence Ritter and Donald Honig included him in their book, The 100 Greatest Baseball Players of All Time. Authors, noting that Parker had succeeded Roberto Clemente at the position, wrote, "Somebody must have someone must have a fondness for right field in Pittsburgh. Parker took after his Pittsburgh Pirates teammate Willie Stargell in warming up on the on-deck circle with a sledgehammer, when most batters would use a simple lead-weighted bat. In the early 80s, however, Parker hitting suffered due to injuries, weight problems, and his increasing cocaine use. He became one of the central figures in a drug scandal that spread throughout the major leagues." I think that's the one where what's his name? Keith Hernandez started telling. That's funny too, because me and my dad were just talking about that yesterday. Later career, at the end of the '83 season, Parker became a free agent and signed with the Cincinnati Reds. In Cincinnati, his hometown, he returned to the form that made him an all-star in Pittsburgh. In '85, he enjoyed his best season since he won the '78 MVP with a .312 batting average, 34 home runs. He also led the league with 125 RBIs, 42 doubles, 80 extra base hits, and a .350 total bases. Parker finished second in the '85 MVP voting to Willie McGee. Parker was also the winner of the league's first ever home run derby in '85. Following the season, Parker was among several players who testified against a dealer in the Pittsburgh drug trials. Named as regular users, Parker and 6 other players were suspended for the following season. Sentences were commuted, however, in exchange for donating 10% of their baseball salaries to drug-related community services, submitting to random drug testing, and contributing 100 hours of drug-related community service. After the '87 season, Cincinnati traded Parker to the A's for Jose Rio and Tim Burtsis. In Oakland, Parker was able to extend his career by spending most of his time as a DH, designated hitter. Although injuries and age caught up to him to a degree, he hit just .257 with 12 home runs and 377 at-bats. In '88, with a .264 batting average and 22 home runs and 553 at-bats. '89, his veteran leadership was a significant factor in the A's consecutive World Series appearances, which included another World Series title for Parker in '89, exactly 10 years after his first title with the Pirates in '79. Parker signed with the Brewers for the '90 season and had a solid year as the Brewers DH with the .289 average, 21 home runs, and 610 at-bats. He was even selected as a reserve for the '90 All-Star Game. Milwaukee opted for youth, however, at the end of the year, and traded the aging Parker to the Angels for Dante Bichette. Parker's last season was in '91. He played for the Angels until late in the season when he was released. The Toronto Blue Jays then signed him as an insurance for the pennant race. Parker hit .233 in limited action. Since he was acquired too late in the season, however, he did not qualify for inclusion on the postseason roster and thus was unable to play for the American League Championship Series against the Twins, which the Blue Jays lost in 5 games. Parker retired at the end of the season. So his retirement, Parker has served as a first base coach for the Angels, a batting coach for the Cardinals, a special hitting instructor for the Pirates. He owns several Popeye chicken franchises in Cincinnati until selling his interest in 2012. After 25 years, Parker never got more than 24% of the votes on a Hall of Fame ballot, and his 15-year Baseball Writers Association of America eligibility was exhausted on the 2011 ballot. He is currently under consideration for Modern Baseball Era Committee. Supporters of Parker's Hall of Fame candidacy argue that Parker's involvement with the Pittsburgh drug trials has contributed to his not being voted into the into the fame, which may have also harmed the candidacy of Keith Hernandez, who never received more than 10%, and fall off the writer's ballot on his ninth try. And Tim Raines debuted at 24%, but was elected on his 10th year on the ballot, serving as a persecutor to those listed on the Mitchell report, not being voted into the Hall of Fame due to steroid use. Damn, I can't read my own writing. Sorry about that. Critics say that Parker's stats fall short of accepted standards of inclusion in the Hall, while Tim Raines became a clause among the community which pushed for his election. Parker does not fare as well when using his advanced stats. Parker has had both of his knees replaced due to injuries from his playing career. In 2013, he confirmed to the Pittsburgh Tribune review, that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He is involved in raising money to find a cure for Parkinson's disease through the Dave Parker 39 Foundation. Parker has 6 children. He currently resides in Loveland, Ohio, near Cincinnati, with his wife, Kelly. Parker was elected to the Reds Hall of Fame class of 2014, which also included fellow Cincinnati natives Ron Oyster and Ken Griffey Jr. I think it's Ken Griffey Sr. I don't know. Ken Griffey Jr. played for the Reds. I don't remember that. I remember the Mariners, and I remember the White Sox. No, he did go. He did play for the Reds. Yeah, Dave Parker has 2,700 hits. You know, they always say if you got 3,000 hits, you're in. 500 home runs, you're in. You know what I mean? But he's short on both of those. He's got 200 and some odd hits short of 3,000, and he's about 162 home runs short of 500. Injuries caught up to both these guys eventually. I think Dave Parker has 339 home runs, and Baylor has 338 home runs. You got guys like Sheffield, and they're not in the Hall of Fame. Sheffield has over 5,000. He has over 3,000. No, excuse me. Gary Sheffield has over 500 home runs, and I think he has, let's see. I think he has over, I'll tell you right now. No, he has 2,600, almost 2,700 hits, Gary Sheffield, but he has 500 home runs, and he's not in. You know what I mean? So it just sometimes it depends, man. And then Dave Parker wasn't too good with the media. You know what I mean? He wasn't a favorite of the media. I mean, look, you got guys like Dave. Look at Barry Bonds is not in. And you can make the case easy that before anybody suspected Bonds of using steroids, he already had 3 MVPs in Pittsburgh, and he already had MVP type numbers before he left. So from '86 to, I think he went to the Giants in '93. So from '86 to '93, he had already close to Hall of Fame numbers already. That should have put him in compared to other guys' numbers. You know what I mean? Other players. But with that being said, Big Lou's gonna tap on out. I appreciate everybody that came and watched the video. It was highly appreciated. I appreciate everybody that's been dropping comments and hitting the like button. And hopefully I can get Harvey on tomorrow or one of these next couple of days and finish up part 2 of that. And again, I'm reaching out to other content creators. I'm hoping to do something with Big Weavy. Hoping to do something with Sticks for Stay Awake TV. Vegas Prison Stories. I'm still going to Big Lance. Hopefully I'm going to do something. Chad Marks, I'm still going to push out, extend to him and see what's up. And with that being said, Big Lou tapping on out. Also got the Pro Club. The Pro Club, just chilling. You like that, baby boy? And also thanks to Anthony Magnolo for that Cash App. Anybody wants to know, $ Big Lou PR, all lowercase, big with 2 G's. So $ BIGG Lou LOU PR. That's my Cash App. That being said, I'm out.